Have you ever noticed that in real life, it's rarely the smartest, the strongest, or the richest person who commands true respect? That truth is uncomfortable, because it forces us to confront something most people avoid. The world is full of talented individuals living far below their potential, not because they lack ability, but because they were conditioned to doubt themselves. At the same time, ordinary people with no extraordinary advantages somehow rise into rooms no one expected them to enter. Why? Because life does not reward potential alone. It responds to posture. You can collect knowledge, degrees, money, and opportunities. But if your mind is ruled by hesitation, all of it becomes weaker. Resources without conviction are like weapons left unused. This is why some people with very little still manage to influence, lead, and dominate environments that should have intimidated them. They carry something far more powerful than external advantages: internal certainty. Life does not react to what you own nearly as much as it reacts to who you believe you are. The moment someone changes their self-image, their posture changes. The way they speak changes. The way they enter a room changes. The way others perceive them changes. Suddenly, the person who was once overlooked starts being heard, not because the world magically changed, but because something shifted inside first. So be honest with yourself. Are you living as someone who sees possibilities, or as someone who constantly anticipates defeat? Are you approaching life with authority or with fear? Because in the end, your reality is shaped less by circumstances and more by the meaning you assign to them. And if this message hits deeper than surface-level motivation, subscribe to the channel now. This is not a place for passive entertainment. It's for people serious about transforming how they think and live. There is a reason certain symbols have survived through generations. Across cultures, figures like the eagle represent authority, perspective, and dominance. These symbols endure because they communicate something universal. True leadership never begs for recognition. The eagle does not waste energy competing with smaller birds. It simply rises higher. It doesn't obsess over noise below because its focus is fixed on a greater altitude. That alone is a lesson most people never learn. Too many lives are drained by small battles, petty competition, and the exhausting need to prove worth to people who do not matter. Real authority is quiet. It does not need constant validation. The strongest presence in a room is rarely the loudest. Insecure people often overcompensate. Confident people conserve energy. Look around at everyday life. How many people spend more time trying to look important than becoming valuable? The colleague desperate to appear busy while producing very little. The person drowning in debt just to maintain an illusion of status. So much energy is spent performing significance instead of building it. Respect cannot be purchased. It cannot be imitated for long. It must be built. And here is another uncomfortable truth. Strength is rarely born in comfort. Character is not formed in ease. People with real presence usually carry stories shaped by adversity, pressure, and repeated moments where quitting would have been easier. This is where most people fail. They want confidence without discomfort, influence without discipline, leadership without responsibility. But leadership begins with self-mastery. The most powerful individuals are not necessarily the most gifted. They are the ones who learned how to govern their own minds. That is what separates people who move through life with intention from those constantly reacting to fear. Fear magnifies obstacles. Confidence reinterprets them. Two people can face the exact same challenge and experience completely different realities. One sees danger, the other sees opportunity. The external situation is identical. The internal lens is what changes everything. How many times have you avoided something because it looked too big? A business, a new opportunity, a career shift, a difficult conversation, a personal reinvention. You convinced yourself the challenge was too large. But often, the real issue was never the size of the obstacle. It was your relationship to it. People become paralyzed because they overanalyze themselves into inaction. They study every possible risk until momentum dies. Action requires a different mindset. Not recklessness, but decisiveness. Instead of asking, "And what if I fail?" start asking, "Well, what if this works better than I imagined?" That single shift can alter an entire life. History is full of people who achieved extraordinary things not because success was guaranteed, but because uncertainty did not stop them from moving. This is how confidence is built, not through endless thinking, but through repeated evidence that you can trust yourself. And trust begins with identity. If deep down you see yourself as incapable, Your behavior will unconsciously align with that belief. Your posture shrinks. Your voice weakens. Your decisions become hesitant. Your presence communicates insecurity before you ever speak. But when someone changes what they believe about themselves, everything starts to reorganize. Body language shifts. Eye contact strengthens. Speech becomes more intentional. Decision-making becomes clearer. This is not performance. It is alignment. People respond to what you project. Whether they realize it or not, human beings constantly read signals. Confidence signals stability. Stability attracts trust. That is why comparison is so destructive. The moment you constantly measure your value against someone else, you weaken your own identity. Stop asking who is ahead of you. Ask whether you are becoming who you are capable of becoming. That is the only comparison that matters. The problem is that many people are operating under borrowed beliefs. Old criticism, family limitations, past failures, rejection, humiliation. Someone once planted an idea in your mind, and you built an identity around it. Maybe you were told you were not enough, not smart enough, not charismatic enough, not capable enough, and without realizing it, you started living as if those words were final. But beliefs are not facts, and what was programmed can be reprogrammed. That requires discipline, different inputs, different environments, different conversations. Your mind is shaped by what you repeatedly consume. Books, media, friendships, routines, conversations, self-talk. Everything is either reinforcing strength or feeding weakness. You cannot build a strong identity while constantly consuming mental poison. If you do not intentionally shape your own thinking, your environment will do it for you, and environments rarely default toward excellence. This is why self-leadership matters so much. Before influencing anyone else, you must become trustworthy to yourself. You must become someone whose word carries weight with your own mind. When you say you will do something, do it. When you set a standard, honor it. These small acts of internal integrity accumulate into self-respect, and self-respect changes how you move through the world. Eventually, people can sense it, not because you announced it, but because consistency has presence. That is the foundation of leadership. Leadership is not domination. It is not manipulation. It is not performance. Leadership is clarity embodied. It is the ability to create certainty in uncertain environments. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel stable. This is true in business, relationships, families, teams, and friendships. One grounded person can change the emotional climate of an entire room. One disciplined person can raise the standard of an entire group. One courageous person can give permission for others to act. That is why leadership is contagious. People mirror certainty. When someone sees another human being move with calm conviction, something awakens in them. They begin to believe more is possible. This is how influence multiplies. And it all begins in the same place: identity. Everything external is downstream from what you believe internally. Thoughts become beliefs. Beliefs shape actions. Actions create outcomes. Your life is not built in isolated moments. It is built through patterns repeated long enough to become identity. That means the greatest investment you can make is not merely financial or professional. It is psychological. Train your mind. Strengthen your standards. Guard your attention. Protect what enters your internal world. Because what dominates your mind eventually dominates your life. There is also a deeper dimension to all of this. People who believe their lives are connected to something greater tend to endure more. Purpose creates resilience. When your life is anchored in meaning, temporary setbacks lose power. You stop interpreting every obstacle as evidence of failure. Instead, you see challenge as refinement. That perspective is powerful. And once your mind changes, your life begins to follow. Not through magic, but through behavior. You communicate differently, decide differently, persist differently. The world responds accordingly. So here is the real question. How much longer will you continue living beneath your potential simply because you accepted a version of yourself that was too small? How much longer will you wait for permission to become who you were capable of becoming all along? No one is coming to hand you certainty. No one is arriving to officially approve your growth. At some point, you have to decide. Decide to think differently. Decide to move differently. Decide to stop negotiating with your own limitations. If this message challenged you, comment below. I choose growth. I want to know who is truly ready to stop living on autopilot. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now and turn on notifications. This channel is built for people committed to real transformation, not temporary inspiration. Life does not wait for indecisive people. The question is simple. Will you keep shrinking yourself to fit your fears? Or will you finally step into the version of yourself that has been waiting for your decision?